Hi, my name's Bekah. Welcome to my video series, Everyday English, Every Day. Here we have conversations with real people so you can practice your English comprehension skills and your pronunciation skills, because you should be repeating after me and practicing the new vocabulary. Okay, so today we're talking about cannabis dinner experience. What is that? We're gonna listen to a conversation I had with my friend John, and we're gonna practice some phrasal verbs. For a little more, we're gonna talk about the word hangover. So be sure to subscribe to my channel and give my video a like. All right, guys, so my friend John works in the cannabis industry in Canada, okay? And that means, right, cannabis is like weed, pot, right? So he went to a cannabis dinner. That means all of the dishes had some kind of cannabis in them, right? So you get high during your cannabis dinner. All right, so while we talk, I want you to pick out the following phrases in the conversation so you can practice using them. So repeat after me. An entire cannabis dinner, 4 or 5 courses, take a long time, best time I will never remember, just zoning. All right, during our conversation, I also want you to write down the phrasal verbs you hear, okay? How many phrasal verbs can you pick out of the conversation? Let's listen to our conversation together.
Cannabis dinners where they serve you a 4-course
tell me about
meal.
this. Tell me about an entire cannabis dinner.
Well, I've only done it twice because it's a lot to take in, but I was in Canada and essentially they serve you very small courses. So it's like 4 or 5 courses. And each of these courses will have, it's like you'll have like hors d'oeuvres and you'll have things like that. And in the sauce, they will have cannabis, or in the dish itself, they will have cannabis. And they serve it to you. The dinners take a very long time, like 2-3 hours, because they'll serve you a little and then they will wait a half an hour.
The effect a little, okay.
Yes, because they don't want people to get too high. Right, so they'll wait for a half an hour and then they'll ask people how they're doing. And then they'll serve you a little more and like a new course. And then they'll wait another half hour. And then inevitably some of the people drop out because they've had enough. And then they make you drink lots of water, and then a half an hour will go by. And then finally I made it to the end. I made it all the way to dessert.
I knew you would.
Yes. And then it was a very fun night, but I obviously at that point couldn't go home. So I just remember being in downtown Toronto and I sat on a park bench for 3 hours waiting for just sat on a bench on my phone for 3 hours, waiting for the effects to go down. And then I got on the subway and went home. And that was it. But the dinner was, it was the best time I will never remember. That's like, I remember the beginning of the dinner. I don't really remember the end of the dinner as much. I do remember the park bench because
just chilling. Were you just zoning? Were you in the zone?
That's it.
Just chill.
Just zone, chill in the moment. Exactly. And I was fine. I felt perfectly safe. But at the same time, I just knew that I
didn't need to move.
I didn't need to move, and I couldn't, even if I wanted to, I didn't want to go anywhere until I knew that some of the effects wore off. And then I was fine. And then I got home and I slept, and next morning I woke up. That's the great thing about cannabis. At least for me,
a hangover.
No, I don't get a hangover generally. Some people have told me that some of the effects last them a while, but for me, it doesn't happen.
All right, so let's look at some of this vocabulary together a little
Cannabis
more. All right, so I said, tell me about an entire cannabis dinner. So entire is like no part left without, the whole dinner. He said, essentially, they serve you very small courses. So it's like 4 or 5 courses. When you go out to dinner, you may have appetizers and then a salad and then a soup. Those are all different courses. And each of these courses will have cannabis in the sauce or in the dish. So remember, we put a sauce on top of food for extra flavor. In the dish means, you know, something is cooked in the actual meal, right? That has cannabis in it. So I can say, what's your favorite food that your mom makes? Or I can say, what's your favorite dish your mom cooks for you, right? I think mine is lasagna and chicken marsala. John said that the dinners take a long time. They're not short, right? When something takes a long time, it's spread over an amount of time, right? So if the dinner is 5 hours, that's a long time for a meal. All right, now let's talk about some phrasal verbs. John uses lots of phrasal verbs in our conversation. So let's see what they all mean. To take in, to receive into the mind, to perceive. I've only done it twice because it is a lot to take in. So he's only had 2 cannabis dinners in his lifetime because, you know, it's a lot, right? There's a lot of things going on. He's eating a lot of food with cannabis, so you can get kind of high. So it's a lot. You have to be ready for it, right? You kind of have to be able to be used to that a little, or you might not enjoy it. So we can take in a new area, right? When we go somewhere, we could be like, I'm just going to sit here and take it all in, check it out and see what's going on. To drop out, to stop participating in something. Inevitably, some of the people drop out because they have had enough, right? When they drop out, they stop. They don't eat any more of the dinner. Maybe they had 2 or 3 courses and decided, that's enough for me. Inevitably is like, it's not a surprise, you know? This is a large amount of cannabis you're eating. So if you're not used to it, you might not want to eat all 4 or 5 courses. To go down, to lessen in strength. I was waiting for the effects to go down. He said he was super high, so he chilled, right? He was outside on a bench waiting for the effects to lessen, to not be as strong as they were. To get on, to enter or board. I got on a subway and went home. You can get on a train, you can get on a plane. To wear off. When something wears off, it loses intensity. That means it goes down in intensity. It's not as strong, right? It's just like to wear off, right? It's just like when we go back to go down. They're very similar, right? I didn't want to go anywhere until I knew some of the effects wore off, right? Some of them went down, right? It wasn't so strong. All right, to zone out. So when you zone out, you lose concentration. You stop paying attention. You could be like staring into space if you're zoning out. Were you just chilling? Were you just zoning? Were you in the zone, right? So in that sense, it's like you were relaxing. Sometimes children like are zoning out, like staring at the TV. Wow, they're not paying attention to anything else. They're zoning out on the TV. John says, it was the best time I will never remember, right? When we remember something, it's because we have a memory of it. He knows he went, but he doesn't remember the entire night. I remember the beginning of the dinner. I don't really remember the end of the dinner as much. I do remember the park bench. All right, to have or get a hangover. John says, that's the great thing about cannabis. You don't have a hangover. So you can have or get a hangover. Oh, I have a hangover. I drank a lot of wine last night. Or you can be hungover. I am so hungover. What a night last night. That was a crazy party. I drank a lot. I am hungover. All right, guys. So remember to subscribe and like my videos, subscribe to my channel. I usually post new videos on Monday and Wednesdays, so check them out. Comment below, use the phrases in your own sentences. If you write them below, I'll review them for you. I hope to see you soon. Keep up the great work. Keep growing and expanding. Bye-bye.